Okay, what was your major in college, and how do you see that as helping your dream aspirations?
Yeah, so I majored at East Carolina University, exercise sports science, and my focus was health fitness. So I really think that that benefited me very well. They set me up with some really good advisors during school that led me into a great internship, and I felt like I was really prepared for my job now today.
And then, what did you do in college to help prepare yourself for the future? So, outside of your schoolwork, did you do clubs, volunteer work, internships, etc.?
Yeah, so that's a good question. A lot of what I had to do in college was I actually had to have a job. So I didn't pay my own rent and things like that, but I looked to how can I make a little money while still benefiting and getting experience that I need. Instead of just working at a restaurant or something like that, I chose to kind of volunteer and then work with the sport programs. So flag football, intramurals, I got involved with some of that, refereeing and things, and just kind of learned how to manage multiple people at one time. Sometimes you get angry players, sometimes you have, overexcitement and just trying to manage different things like that. And I think that's benefited me very well.
And then, out of all those things that you did, what did you find the most beneficial to help into what you want to do or what you're doing now?
Yeah, so it kind of led right into like almost a job at the YMCA, which is my first kind of job that I had here was at the rec facility. They had almost like a wellness coach there. It was kind of like an on-staff person who learned how to communicate with members and make sure everybody knew where equipment was, make sure they were set up properly on equipment. And that's probably the biggest thing that translated directly into what I'm doing today.
Were there any other jobs that you had straight out of school, or did you come straight into this job?
I actually did. I did actually pick up another job, which was at Lowe's Hardware, just to kind of start paying off some of my school while I was still in there. But once East Carolina was rare compared to a lot of schools I've heard of because they required a 480-hour internship. Some internships were paid, some weren't, and the YMCA was a volunteer internship, so I wasn't paid. But I completed 480 hours here, and then I moved directly into a part-time position with that.
So how did you hear about this job? Since you did the internship, did you just kind of find out about it through that?
Yeah, we, it kind of goes back to our advisors at East Carolina. They were really dedicated in benefits for their students, not just getting them the grades that the school needed and wanted to see. It was actually benefiting these kids and getting them in the right footsteps. If you wanted to travel, they would try to get you down to Florida, to some training facilities for like professional athletes. If you were more of a homebody person, I looked specifically in this location. I grew up 15 miles down the street in Clemens, near West Forsyth High School. So I was looking specifically in this location just to financially and things like that. That's kind of led me to my decision.
And then what was the interview like when you came for the interview here?
So it was a very interesting interview. I actually interviewed downtown at the Human Resources branch with our association office. I was a little nervous, I'm walking into this big, multi-story building, it was actually the Winston Tower building, and I was a little intimidated, I didn't know who I was meeting, I've never seen them before, a little anxious, but I felt like I was prepared and I did my research for the organization that I wanted to do an internship with, and that helped ease my mind a little bit.
So with your first years at this job and at your other jobs with the internships and all, what were your biggest concerns or problems that you had with that, if you had any?
Yeah, I was a little bit of a reserved person. When I was on a field playing, in sports with football and basketball, you wouldn't even know who I was when I went to a classroom. I would sit down, I'd be quiet, I never asked questions, I just sat there and I listened and I left. So when I came into here, it's not the competition scene that you have in playing sports, but it was you've got to talk to these members. If these members don't know who you are, I look young, I still look young for my age, people tell me, so sometimes I lose a little respect, I felt, I had the education, I knew how to talk to people, but I had to, act more mature than I even was because, I had to learn how to fit in with multiple different populations of people in different diversities.
Gotcha. That actually leads into one of my other questions. Let's see. Where's it at? Oh, are there any specific types of demographic struggles that you see in the sports world today? And with those, do you see that the Y addresses those, and how do they address it? Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, it does, and I think that's a great question. The headlines of sports a lot of times are these people who are going to trial. They played college ball, most of them now with the new regulations they have. But just because they play college ball doesn't mean that they learn the values and morals and how to live a Christian life, or how to really have the code of ethics that people should have. The YMCA is huge on that, helping people reach their God-given potential in spirit, mind, and body. So it's not just, we're going to make you stronger. We're going to develop kids from the time they're in our little cross chamber for kids classes, all the way up to our senior weight loss programs and our Alzheimer's programs that we help people with. I think the sports world has gotten away from the ethics and the code of ethics and the moral, kind of responsibility that people need to have. And a lot of arguments I hear about that is, well, we need to pay college athletes. When you pay college athletes, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to learn the true values of life and how to be a responsible citizen.
Let's see. So then, what is your exact job title and description, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm currently the lead wellness director. I oversee all of personal training, wellness coaches, which a wellness coach, they work mostly with new members, getting them orientated on fitness equipment, making sure they're doing things properly. I also oversee some programs for cancer survivors called Live Strong, post-treatment kind of workouts and things like that. And it's also a good relationship building course for people who struggle through cancer and after cancer. It's almost like a little camaraderie that they build between each other, so it benefits them.
So on a day-to-day basis, what does it look like from the time you get here to the time you leave?
Oh man, well, depends on what day. If it's a Monday, you might see a different stressed person than on a Friday. But for the most part, you come in. I always check in with the people on staff right then. I check in with the front desk, different departments, making sure everything over the weekend or over the night before was handled properly. If anything happened, just kind of touch base, make sure everybody's comfortable with everything going on for the day. I'll check emails from members, look at any comment cards or suggestions from members. Kind of the busy work in the morning, and in the afternoon I try to spend a lot of time out on the floor communicating with the members, so that I'm not just an office person. I'm not just a director who sets the rules and doesn't understand the front line.
And the next question is, do you have anybody that reports to you on a day-to-day basis, which you kind of just said, and then or do you advise people?
Yeah, I do. The most day-to-day work is between me and wellness coaches. The people who are on the front line, helping out members. They get the brunt of the complaints that I guess you could say are the concerns for members. They don't like where this piece of equipment is at, or why do you have this piece instead of this piece? So they send a lot of that filter to me, and I try to help them out and just coach them every day on how to handle situations, good or bad. Try to always give good feedback before I give back.
How many people do you advise on a day-to-day basis?
Currently right now I have 13 trainers, personal trainers, and 7 wellness coaches, and 1 coordinator. I actually have 1 full-time coordinator.
And then, so they report to you. Now, do you report to someone else on a day-to-day basis, and how do you go about reporting to them?
Yeah, not really on a day-to-day basis. We do have weekly meetings with all the directors that we kind of fill in each other throughout the weeks to weeks, make sure that we're all on the same page with any new programs that might be coming up, membership issues, any kind of implementation of the membership dues and fees, things like that. But nobody really reports to anything.
Let's see. So what's the best thing about this, not necessarily the job, but the whole field in general, and then what is the least best thing?
Yeah. You know, I've always heard this saying, hire tough, manage easy. You know, so one of the most rewarding things is I hire really, really good people. So I don't have to, always be on the pace and, have the complaints and things. I try to hire really well. So, and I love seeing my members grow as well as my staff. I always want them to have goals set within the Y and even outside of the Y that would benefit them every day from working here. There's a lot of growth, in the Y. It's easy to move up as long as you put in your time. So that's probably the most rewarding thing, is just to see how people grow, just as I did. And just kind of getting back to the community in that way. But the struggles, it kind of goes with my positive thing, is that I hire really good people. Unfortunately, with the YMCA being a nonprofit, we don't have huge dollars to spend to keep part-time. So the overturn, the turnover, the people leaving for other jobs that might be full-time, that can be frustrating. The member complaints and things, that's just day to day. That's, in every company, you're not going to have everybody happy.
That's right.
But the hardest thing is I really want people to grow, but it's almost, I'm restrained a little bit, to be able to get them to where I want them.
And then let's see. So is this your dream job? Is this where you see yourself 10 to 15 years from now, or do you have a separate job that you want to get into at some point?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If you had asked me 5 years ago before I even graduated, college, I would have never told you I was working for the Y. I would have never thought during my internship I would even be here in a year. When I went part-time and then full-time, I still didn't think, okay, well, I'll probably work here 2 years, but there's no way I'll be here 5 years later. So it's not necessarily a dream job, but it is rewarding. I don't make a huge amount of money, to support the big extravagant things in life, but I'm happy. I enjoy the people that I work with, the people that I do work with, as far as my staff and the members here. It's very rewarding. As far as the future, I would love to still be with the Y. It's all about opportunity and do I have the chance to grow. Like I said in the beginning, I'm kind of a homebody person. I like this location. It's where I grew up. I'm not the type of person who's just going to move to Virginia or somewhere to pursue a bigger position. Before I even got into college, I did a lot of construction work for my dad. He owns his own business with construction and framing, and so I'd like to maybe get into some investing in rental properties, things like that, just as an extra kind of supplement income.
If you saw, so in college, say you were just getting into your exercise science, and maybe you had a dream job or something else, but going into exercise science, what would be the ultimate dream job? Does that make sense? Coming out of college?
Yeah. The dream job when I was in college was to be sidelines of the Panthers games. Every Sunday, and if I was lucky, I'd be there on Monday Night Football too. But that was my dream. I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach for a college or a professional. It's kind of, you got to move up through the ranks. But that was my ultimate dream job during college.
So outside of what you did while you're in college, when you got out of college, what does it take just in general to be successful in this field?
Just learning how to manage others and not take things personally. Like I said, with multiple different areas and different organizations, you're going to have the struggles, you're going to have frustrating days, and just never let people see that on your face. Always learn how to lead others and to explain things and find the good in things. That's the best thing. Sometimes I feel like the harder it is to find the good, the more you benefit in the end from finding that good.
And the last question, is there anything that I haven't asked that you feel that would be helpful for tips in the future for me going into the field or for someone else going into the field?
Yeah, I always start out with you have one reputation, and you have to make that a good one. Even if you don't get the job you wanted, you interview. That is the best experience you can ever have, because in order to move up, you almost always have to go through an interview, even if it's within one organization. I actually learned this from the CEO of Chick-fil-A. You have to smile and you have to have eye contact from the second you shake hands. I mean, they literally will not hire you if you don't smile or have eye contact during an interview. You're done. That is the biggest thing, and a personal thing, that will benefit you. Again, with interviewing, is do your research. Always research who you're applying for. Know them from top to bottom. Where were they 5 years ago? Where are they now? What are their goals as an industry or an organization? And then show how you can help benefit them.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time, Mike.
All right, yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Glad I could help you out.